ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, welcome back to this Bhagavad Gita study group. Thank you all for joining. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, we'll do a chota sa recap of what we studied last time. In the second chapter, Krishna gave us all kinds of, he spoke about all kinds of rituals and religious practices and told us to focus on duty, right? So he broadly introduced us to Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. He did all of that. But of course, our dear Arjun, he got the message completely wrong because he said, Ki Krishna, if you think knowledge is so great, then why don't I just go to the forest and meditate? Why are you asking me to fight this horrible war? Right? So last week, Krishna told him, Ki look, there are two kinds of people. There are Jnana Yogis and there are Karma Yogis. Right? Jnana Yogis ke liye going to the forest, meditating, introspecting works. But for a Kshatriya like you, for the kind of personality that you have, Karma Yoga is the best option. Right? And at that point, Krishna spoke that beautiful verse, Yajna Karmano. Okay, definitely try and learn the verse. It's very beautiful because whenever you're doing karma, especially karma that irritates you, right? That time you have to keep this in mind कि मैं ये क्यों कर रही हूँ यज्ञार्था उसके लिए कर रही हूँ, right? I don't want to complain, I don't want to take ownership, I don't want credit, I don't want to do anything with this karma. I'm doing karma for him, right? So when we do our activities as a yajna, we don't get karma bandhan, we don't get any kind of bondage. So when we do everything for his sake, for the sake of Vishnu, then we are mukta, free from all sangha, all attachments, all kinds of bondage, right? So last week also I said, currently we focus way too much on ourselves. Everything that I do for my pleasure, right? For me, myself and I. But that has to slowly change. We have to start seeing our life activities as sacrifices. And these sacrifices could be for our family. They could be for society. They could be a part, for the country, whatever, for your company. Our original nature is to work. That work should become seva, right? Same work, it should become service. When we perform these activities, right, whoever is around us, we are doing it for them. And through them, we are connecting to God, right? So consciously, we need to start dedicating our activities for the satisfaction of God, right? So I don't know if I told you this last time, but this is a very beautiful way to remember this. When I perform an action, it is called karma, right? Karma. That karma, if I do it according to my varna and my ashram, it is called dharma. Varnashram dharma bolte hain. So the same karma, when done according to my varna and my ashram, it is called dharma. And the same dharma, if I offer it to yajna, it becomes sanatan dharma. Right? It's so beautiful. Same activity can become sanatan dharma if I do it with the right consciousness. Okay? Karm karna hi hai. Lekin that karm, which is based on our varna and our ashram, and which gets offered to the Supreme, that leads us to mukti. Right? So all we have to do is find a way by which we can offer all our intentions, our energy, our resources our intelligence, right? Our buddhi, our talents, everything in service, keeping God at the center. And that is Yajnarthat Karmano. Sacrifices which please the Lord. Okay? So today we'll continue. What has happened is Krishna has spoken such a big, profound verse, Yajnarthat Karmano Nyatra. And then he looks at Arjun, and Arjun is still looking like, oh my God, I'm too confused. I'm still trying to understand कि मैं जंगल क्यों नहीं जाऊं, मैं ये कर्म क्यों कर रहा हूं, right? And Krishna, you've spoken such lofty ideals. I'm not ready for so much of philosophy as yet. So Krishna realizes कि I need to go down to the basics. I need to go even behind and explain from the foundation to Arjun and to all of us many, many thousands of years later who are going to be studying the Gita. I need to go down to the basics and explain कि कहाँ से शुरुआत करें before we can actually understand Yajnarthat Karmano. Okay, so Yajnarthat Karmano is a very lofty ideal, something that we will reach probably when we understand the whole of the Gita. So from today, Krishna is going back. वो rewind कर रहे हैं पूरा. Okay, and he goes back and he thinks कि अच्छा, okay, what is happening currently? Currently, everyone is living like animals, right? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. In fact, a lot of us are far worse than animals, because animals eat only when they are hungry. We eat all the time. Animals sleep according to their biological clock. We sleep all the time. Animals mate only when the season is right. We mate all year through. And animals defend only when they're attacked. But we defend even without being attacked. Right? I think we had done this. Ahar nidra bhay maithunya samana etat pashubhi naranam. Pashu or nar, humans. Animals and humans में common क्या है? Ahar, eating. Nidra, sleeping. Bhay, fear. So we defend ourselves. And maithunya, sex. These four things are common between animals and human beings. What is it that differentiates a human being? Dharmo hi tesham. Yes, Subbalakshmi. Tell me.
Man has got intellect. Animals do not have.
Because man has got intellect, he can do his dharma. So the verse says, Dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho. Dharmena hinaha pashubhi samanaha. What makes me different from an animal is that I can understand the concept of dharma and I can follow my dharma. If I don't follow it, then I am the same as an animal. There is no difference. If I don't do my dharma, then I am an animal. Right? So now Krishna is helping us get out of that rut. Right? So he's giving us the first steps. He's introducing us to the first step of getting out of this animalistic lifestyle that we have. Currently, we're only focused on sense gratification. Correct? We have no higher purpose. So Krishna is telling us how to move up one notch. Maybe Yajnarthat is too difficult just now. So chalo, I'll teach you step by step. Okay? So when after the animalistic base, the first step is karma kand. It's not even karma yoga. Yoga means to connect with Krishna. Yoga means to connect to the Supreme. Karma kand. Okay? One step above being an animal. Alright? So Krishna is going to today talk about this gradual elevation process. Let's start with the verse. We are starting with 3.10 and there I'll explain to you how this moves on. Saha yajna praja shrushtva purovacha prajapatihi anena prasavishyadvam.
In the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent forth generations of men and demigods, along with sacrifices for Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, Be thou happy by this yajna, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable in living happily and achieving liberation.
Wonderful. In the beginning of creation, Vishnu, Prajapati, he created mankind and all men were given their duties. Okay? So he created man and he gave him his Varna Ashram, ka dharma. And he said, go, prosper. But when will you prosper? You will prosper only when you perform yajna. Because when you do a yajna, you get everything that you want. Right? So first understand the foundation. Why are we born in this material world? Why did Prajapati send us back over here? Because we had unfulfilled desires. Right? Because we had karmic balances. किसी से कुछ लेना था, किसी को कुछ देना था. And that is why we were put back over here in this material world to give us a chance. Ki go, settle all your karmas and then come back home. Right? So this verse tells us that the Lord created this material world so that we could perform our yajnas, sacrifices. It simply means that we get a chance to finish our karmas, and we can finish our karma only when we don't want karma ka phal. Otherwise, we'll continue in the material world, right? If we keep taking, keep giving, then we'll never exit. So this is a chance that we got to do our karma but not keep our eye on the fruit. And if we do that, then while we are here, we can live very comfortably without any anxiety. And after finishing this material existence, we can go back home. Right? So that was the entire program. If you actually look at all elements of nature, right? The sun gives you heat and light. Earth gives you soil, right? Which is full of nourishment, and that's how we get our food. The air gives us prana vayu, right? Because of air, we can hear each other. Sound is transmitted. So everybody does his duty without expecting anything in return. Similarly, we humans are also a very integral part of God's creation, right? And God has given us this air, this earth, the water that we drink, the light from the sun. All of these are gifts that He's given to us. So when we take these gifts, it is very important that we give back to the system. Correct? We're all part of this universe. So in the universe, we are taking from the other participants. So it's but natural that we also give back. Krishna is saying that we're obligated to participate with nature, to perform our prescribed duties in service of God. That is yajna. Right? It's like this. No, I mean, if I look at my hand, the hand is a very important part of my body. Correct? The hand is getting everything from the body. Blood, oxygen, nutrients, everything that the hand needs, it gets from the body. But in return, this hand does its function. Right? The hand picks up, the hand takes the food, puts it in the mouth. If the hand starts thinking, why should I do all of this? This is all so burdensome. I'm just going to cut myself off and live separately. The hand will not be able to survive. Right? But when the hand does its job, then the body gets nourished and the hand gets nourished. So the entire system works very beautifully. So we Jivatmas, we're all tiny parts of the Supreme Soul. And so we have our role to play in this entire grand scheme of things that God has created. So when we perform our yajna towards Him, right, we will get everything that we want. How do we prosper? Bas tum yajna karo, Yajnapati will be happy and give us everything that we want. So yajna simply means doing our karma as an offering to the Supreme. Okay, next verse please. Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantu vaha parasparam bhavayanta treyah paramavapsyatha.
The demigods, being pleased by sacrifices, will also please you, and thus, by cooperation between men and demigods, prosperity will reign for all.
Okay, so what Krishna is saying is, ठीक है, तुमको supreme नहीं समझ में आ रहा है ना? How do I run my entire universe? I run it through devatas, right? I have devatas, demigods who are running my whole administration. Okay, so the devatas are in charge of administration of the universe. Krishna manages the whole universe through these devatas. Always remember, Krishna is living in Golok, whereas the devatas are living in this material universe. Okay? While we are here on Earth planet, they are on slightly higher planets of existence, and sitting there, they are managing this entire universe. Okay, they are in what we call Swarga, right? So fire, we have Agni Dev. For wind, we have Vayu Devta. For the ocean, right, we have Varun Devta. We have Indra, who is the king of all these devatas, right? So there are many, many, many devatas. And these devatas, they supply air, light, water, everything else that we need. So what Krishna is saying is, you want these devatas happy always, correct? You always want good sunlight, you want air, you want proper seasons, correct? If you want all of that, then you have to do your bit. You have to perform yajnas. Okay? These yajnas, they satisfy the devatas. And when the devatas are satisfied, they will give you everything that you need. So there will be no scarcity in this whole material existence. Now, if we study the Vedas, 99% of the Vedas explains this karma kand. It explains to us how to satisfy different devatas. Right? तुमको सुंदर बीवी चाहिए तो किसको प्रे करो? तुमको अच्छा हस्बैंड चाहिए तो किसको प्रे करो? Right? You want to get rid of certain problems in your astrological chart, तुम किसको prayer करो? All of this is what the Vedas has. Why? Because it wants to help human beings to finish all their karmas, to offer it all back to the devatas, be grateful and exit. Right? So Brahmaji created this beautiful system where he said, okay, you perform your yajna, your sacrifice. For you, probably understanding the Supreme Lord is difficult. But since you're getting rain instantly, you're getting a beautiful wife instantly, you're getting a chance to go abroad instantly, you get good education instantly, you probably understand the concept of devatas more easily. Right? And therefore, let me give you a system where you please the devatas will give you good things in return, and that way you make each other happy and you elevate your consciousness. Okay, this is karma kand. It is hard to understand the Supreme directly. What does bhakti actually teach you? Ki put water to the root of the tree and the entire tree gets nourished. Tum Vishnu ko sab kuch arpan kar do, all devatas are very happy. Right? That is what bhakti yoga teaches us. That is what karma yoga is. Ki offer everything to the root of the tree, the whole tree gets nourished. But if you're not able to understand that, right? Most people cannot connect to the Supreme Lord directly because they don't see instant gratification. Right? And therefore, they like to worship devatas. And this is what God is explaining over here. If you please devatas, they will give you whatever you want. And that is why, we do Sola Somvar, Guruvar ka Vrat, Shanivar ka Vrat. Right? Whatever we ask ask from the devatas, if we follow whatever they've asked us to follow, then they give us what we want. Okay? But remember, there's a very wise old saying which says, be careful what you ask for because it might get granted. That is the problem with devta worship. Because it is like a child who goes to a cigarette shop. Right? Chota sa bachcha hai 12 saal ka, pays money and gets the cigarette. Shopkeeper ko koi lena dena nahi hai. He wants money in exchange for the cigarette. And so he gives it to the child. Right? However, if that child goes to the father with the same amount of money and says, ye le lo paise bhai, de do mujhe cigarette. Father is going to give him one tight slap. Right? Because father is a father. Father focuses on your ultimate good. Whereas the shopkeeper says, theek hai, you've done what is expected of you. You gave me the money, I'm giving you the cigarette. Tumne 16 somvar kar liye. What you've asked for, I will grant. I'm not going to worry about is this good for your final elevation. Right? Krishna has an amazing way of fulfilling our desires according to his plan. And that plan is for our ultimate good. That plan he purifies us, he spiritualizes our being and he takes us back. But devta worship is tumko jo chahiye instant. Right? So there's a beautiful verse in the Bhagavad. Okay, it's probably too early to introduce Bhagavatam in this session, but it's a very simple verse and something that I try to keep in mind as much as possible. It says, Akamaha sarva kamova. If I have no kamanai or I'm full of kamanai, akamaha sarva kamova moksha kama. Even if my kamanai, my desire is to get moksha, and I am udaradhi, very, very intelligent. So if I'm a very intelligent person, doesn't matter what it is. Do I have a lot of desires? Do I not have any desires? Do I have mokshaka desire? Whatever my want is, I don't get stuck in devta worship. What do? Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Tivra bhakti ke saath, I will worship that supreme personality of Godhead. Right? You remember we even spoke about Dhruv Maharaj. He got angry with his stepmother. He got angry with his father. And he wanted a kingdom greater than Brahmanda. Right? He went to the forest. What did Narad Muni advise him? Go pray to Vishnu. Hai? He didn't say ki go pray to somebody who grants you material desires. He said go pray to the ultimate. And when Dhruv Maharaj prayed to the ultimate Lord Vishnu, these beautiful lines that he quotes, he says, Sthana bhilashi tapasi sthitoham tvam praptavan deva munindra guhyam kanchan vichinvan api divya ratnam swamin kritarthosmi varam nayache. Such beautiful lines Dhruv Maharaj says. He says, Sthan ki abhilasha mein, my abhilasha, my desire was what? बड़ा सा किंगडम, एक बड़ा स्थान, और उसके लिए मैं तपस्या करने बैठ गया. बट इवन बिफोर आई गॉट स्थान, व्हाट डिड आई गेट? त्वाम प्राप्तवान, आप खुद आ गए मेरे सामने. और आप कौन हो? आप जो देव, मुनि, इंद्र किसी को नहीं मिलते. राइट? यू योरसेल्फ केम इन फ्रंट ऑफ मी. I was sitting there to get pieces of glass. Instead, I got precious gems. Right? Kanchan vichinvan api divya ratnam. I was sitting there looking for tiny, tiny useless pieces of glass, looking for something like a material kingdom. Instead, I got the most precious divya ratnam. I got Vishnu ke darshan himself. So he says, Swamin kritarthosmi. Hey Swami, I am so grateful to you. Varam na yache. From now on, I don't want any other var. Right? I'm so satisfied. I have no other desires. But in spite of that, God gave him the largest kingdom possible and told him, now you will rule this for 30,000 years. And we all still look at Dhruv Tara. Correct? We all know that he still exists. His kingdom still exists. It is the lighting guide for all of us. Similarly, right? I mean, we know of Sudama. Sudama kaun tha? Krishna ka dost. Right? Sudama was living in utmost poverty. Both of them had met in Sandipani Muni's ashram. Right? But Sudama stayed a poor Brahmin, whereas Krishna became king of Dwarka. So as Sudama was talking to his wife one day and saying, oh, you know what? Krishna is my friend. And she said, bakwas karte ho. है ना, अगर कृष्ण तुम्हारा दोस्त है तो तुम इस हालत में क्यों रह रहे हो? बच्चों को दूध भी नहीं है देने के लिए. So then go ask your friend for something. But Sudama was very embarrassed. है ना? But wife is pestering, and so he says, okay. He goes to Dwarka. है ना? And over there, Krishna goes running to receive his friend. Friend को पकड़ते हैं, आत लाते हैं, and he makes him sit on his own throne, washes his feet. Right? Calls Rukmini, uses sandalwood and warm water and pata nahi kya kya, and he pleases his friend. Right? And then he sees ki Sudama is holding one chota sa bag. And he says, give me, what have you got for me? Sudama says, nothing, because he's so embarrassed. मैं इतने से पोहे लाया हूँ भगवान के लिए. Krishna says, no, I want it. Krishna takes that bag, eats that little poha, and he calls Rukmini and he says, you've never eaten something as delicious as this. इसको खा के तो देखो तुम. Right? So Rukmini also eats it. And when all this happens, Sudama is so overwhelmed by love that he forgets to ask Krishna for anything. He completely, bathes in this love and this hospitality. He's so happy, and he leaves back for his home. On the way back, he thinks, hey Bhagwan, ab main jaake biwi ko kya bolunga? Right? What had I gone for and what have I done? Right? I haven't asked Krishna for what I need. But when he goes back home, right, he sees this beautiful palace in place of his old hut. And he sees his wife coming out and she's dressed in all kinds of jewelry, beautiful clothes. He sees his children looking so happy. And imagine the gratitude that Sudama felt. So without asking Krishna, Krishna gives you what is right for you. Right? So whether we ask him or we don't ask him, he gives us what is good for us. That is when we do Bhakti Yoga. But here, Krishna is still telling us कि ठीक है, if you don't understand Bhakti, don't worry about it. Let's start from the very beginning. Right? Let's start where I'm telling you कि ठीक है, तुम अपना यज्ञ करो, तुम देवता को please करो, and devta being pleased, they will give you whatever you want. Okay? So this section is a Karma Kand section. Let's go ahead. Verse number 12, please. इष्टान् भोगान् हि वो देव दास्यन्ते यज्ञभाविताः तैर्दत्तान् अप्रदायैभ्यो यो भुङ्क्तेस्तेन एव सः.
In charge of the various necessities of life, the demigods, being satisfied by the performance of Yajna, will supply all necessities to you. But he who enjoys such gifts without offering them to the demigods in return is certainly a thief.
Okay. So, according to the different material qualities that we've received, right, we're expected to do different kinds of worship, different kinds of yajnas. This is what the Vedas are recommending. Okay, for example, if you're a meat eater, it is recommended that you worship Kali Mata, right? If you're in the mode of goodness, it is recommended that you worship Vishnu. In fact, for us who live in this material world, we are expected to do 5 yajnas regularly. Pancha Maha Yajna. According to the Vedas, on an everyday basis, we are supposed to do Deva Yajna, okay, which is worship of Devatas. Whoever your Ishtadev is. Then we are expected to do Pitru Yajna, right? We are supposed to offer Pinda or water to our Pitar, our forefathers. Then we are supposed to do Bhuta Yajna. Bhuta Yajna is animals, birds, other living creatures around us. Most of us would have seen in, Nani ka ghar, Dadi ka ghar, ki गाय की रोटी निकलती थी, कुत्ते की रोटी निकलती थी. Right? When they started cooking, Agni को पहले थोड़ा सा चढ़ाते थे. Right? So that is Bhuta Yajna. Then there is Manushya Yajna. That you feed fellow human beings. That is why Atithi Devo Bhava. And finally, Brahma Yajna. That is, offer your knowledge to others and keep learning for your own spiritual advancement. So I'll repeat the 5 because I see a lot of you writing this down. Deva Yajna, okay, where you worship your Ishtadev. Pitru Yajna, where you thank your forefathers. You are because they were. Bhuta Yajna, worship all animals, birds around us. Right? Without them, a lot of things would not have happened in our life. Manushya Yajna and Brahma Yajna. Okay? Every family is expected to perform the Pancha Maha Yajna every day for 2 reasons. One is, every day, whether we like it or no, there is himsa. Every day we commit violence. Whether we are cooking or we are cutting or we are breathing, we are talking, we are bathing. Every action that we perform, we are hurting some microorganism or the other. Right? So this is unavoidable himsa. And so for that we do Pancha Maha Yajna. And the second reason we do it is to express our gratitude. Our entire well-being depends on these 5 entities. See, because of the Devatas, we are able to comfortably live on earth. So we do Deva Yajna. Because of our forefathers and our parents, we have the body that we have. We are in the particular situation that we are in. And so we do Pitru Yajna. Then think about it. On a daily basis, right? We need the cow for milk. We need bacteria to convert that milk into curd, right? So we're dependent on all these bhutas, all these animals and plants and everything around us, and therefore we do bhuta yajna. And then everything that we enjoy in this life, it is because other people have also worked very hard to create it. And if we say, okay, I get food, the farmer has grown it, the wholesale guy has, got it from one place to the other, the retailer has got it to you, your cook in the house has cooked it, right? So many people who are involved in making sure that you get some good food on the plate. Or look at this online class that we are having, right? Somebody set up the internet, somebody made the phone or the laptop that we are using, someone came up with Google Meet, right? So we have so many people to thank. That is why we do Manushya Yajna. We're thanking all other living beings who've made our life as comfortable as it is. And finally, we do Brahma Yajna. We thank God for the knowledge that we get. Whatever it is, material knowledge, spiritual knowledge. Knowledge is what enables us to reach our goals. Correct? And therefore, to express our gratitude to these 5 entities, we do the Pancha Mahayajna. Okay? Now we should know that all necessities of life are being supplied by the Devatas. Right? We don't manufacture anything on our own. So if I look at grains, fruits, vegetables, milk, sugar, right? All of this, or even if I'm a non-vegetarian, where are animals coming from? Where are the meats coming from? None of this is manufactured by men. Right? Heat, light, water, air, all kinds of necessities are not manufactured by human society. I'm taking it all from nature. Now, if I take it all from what the Devatas have put over here, then it becomes my job to thank the Devatas. Correct? If I take it all, then I'm a thief. The Devatas have provided me with rain, with wind, with crops, with minerals, with soil, with everything. If I take from them, then I need to be grateful. Devatas are performing their duty. They now expect me to perform my duty. Right? So when I take something from them, I need to offer it back to them. Okay? So we hear a lot of people saying, I don't believe in God. I lead a very virtuous life. I don't harm anyone. I don't steal anything. But I don't believe in worship of God. It's like saying, so Reshma is my neighbor, right? So it's like saying I'll go to her house, I'll sit on her sofa, I'll eat from her refrigerator, I'll go and sleep in her bedroom, I'll, open her cupboards, take whatever I like. I'm not hurting anyone. I'm taking from her, right? But I don't offer anything. Will I not be a thief? I would, right? Even in the eyes of law, I'm a thief because that house does not belong to me. If I take something, I need to be grateful and I need to do something in return. Right? Similarly, from nature, when we take things, then we need to express our gratitude and do something in return. Right? And therefore, what they say is, don't become a thief. Everything in creation belongs to God. So when you take something, then you be grateful, do yajna and thank. If you can't remember to thank Vishnu, thank the people that you can obviously see around you. Right? बारिश आ रही है, so you thank rain god. सुबह उठ के सूर्य दिख रहे हैं, so you thank सूर्य. Right? You're getting fresh air, you thank the wind. Okay? Whatever is enabling you to live a comfortable life, you thank them. Okay? We need to understand when somebody had just invited us to a housewarming ceremony, right? A Vastu Puja. And the explanation was, we are now declaring that this house is ours and we are requesting God to come and live in this. It's a wrong concept. The actual understanding of a Vastu Puja is that Krishna owns this house. And we're doing puja requesting his permission to live in that house. Okay, you see how twisted our thinking has become? When you have devatas in your house, you acknowledge that they own everything. and you seek their permission to accept things and to utilize those things. Okay? So that is what they're saying. When you get something, you offer it back. You seek permission, you express gratitude. Okay? That is how the cycle is supposed to go on. Okay, next verse please. All these are interconnected. Okay, all these verses are essentially telling us the same thing. Yajna shishtashinah santo muchyante sarva kilbishaihi bhunjate te tvagham papa ye pachantyatma karanat.
The devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal self-enjoyment verily eat only sin.
Perfect. In the Vedic tradition, food is cooked with the consciousness that what I'm cooking is for the pleasure of God. Then we take thoda khana, we put it on a beautiful plate, we take it in front of the deities and we offer a prayer. है ना? So we say कि Bhagwan ji, please accept this food that has been cooked. Then we take that food, we mix it back and we take it as prasad. Prabhu ke sakshat darshan. God has accepted it and now I'm taking it back. So now when I take it back, I'm getting God's grace and I eat in that consciousness. Okay? So Krishna is saying in this verse, कि when we eat prasad, we are free from sin. But those who just eat without offering to God, they are committing sin. Now, food is just one aspect of our life. Here, food refers to everything that we consume. Everything that we consume, mentally first offer it to God and then consume it. Then it becomes prasad. We've offered it to God, Bhagwan ne accept kar liya and then He gives it back to us. And so that is God's grace in our life. Okay, so God is saying anybody who cooks food and eats it for himself is eating sin. Instead, तुम बस अर्पण कर लो, तुम thank you बोल लो. When we come into this creation, we automatically assume कि we are proprietors of everything. And the minute I think I am the owner of something, then I suffer. The more I own, the more I have to give up when I die. And that is why it becomes more and more painful. But the minute we understand that I am not the owner, I am simply a caretaker. All of this belongs to somebody else. So when I leave, then I don't have separation anxiety, right? I can leave with no pain. Okay? Alright. So what God is simply telling us over here is, please acknowledge that everything belongs to God, right? And then accept it. It makes all the devatas happy. It makes me happy. It's like this, no? If our little child, suppose it's my birthday, my child uses my money and goes and buys me a gift. Doesn't it make me happy? Because it is an offering of love. Similarly, we also are taking everything from creation which belongs to God and we are offering it to Him. Kyun? Bhakti ke saath, pyar ke saath. And that makes Him happy. Right? So whatever food is offerable, whatever in our life we consume which is offerable, we must offer to the devatas or directly to Krishna. I will keep saying Krishna because let's not forget the higher purpose. Okay, what we are studying is the lower rung. Okay, let's remember to keep offering it and then accept it. So that way we don't get stuck in path, in taking something which does not belong to us. Okay, next 3 verses, God, yes Reshma.
Does this mean that you can only say thank you and eat your food because not at all times you're eating in the house where you can actually show a thali?
Absolutely. You go out, wherever you are, right? In your mind, you express gratitude. Ki whatever I've received is your mercy, right? So thank you so much. I want to consume it with the consciousness that it belongs to you and I'm getting it as your grace. Everything that we do externally is for us to keep reinstating that whole, to condition our mind, right? For us to, they tell you to sit and pray and meditate in a particular place because every time you look at that place, it reminds you कि तुमको उधर बैठ के meditation करना है. You need to be connected to God. So all external rituals are basically for us to finally internalize it. So it doesn't matter where you are, in your conscious, you offer it to God. Right? Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Say that in your head and then consume it. Okay? Alright. So in the next 3 verses, God is helping us understand this cycle of nature. Shrushti Chakra. Very simple. Okay? Let's learn this please. Annad bhavanti bhutani. Parjanyat anna sambhavah. Yajnat bhavati parjanyo. Yajna karma samudbhavah.
All living bodies subsist on food grains, which are produced from rains. Rains are produced by performance of Yajna, and Yajna is born of prescribed duties.
Okay. Annat bhavanti bhutani. Where does Anna come from? How do human beings survive? Bhutani. How do they survive? Because they get Anna. Right? All human beings, all living beings, they subsist on Anna, on food grains. Now where does food grain come from? Parjanyat Anna Sambhavah. Parjanyat means from rain. Right? So Anna Sambhavah. Grains are produced because of rain. Yeah, grains are produced because of rain. Now where does rain come from? Yajnat bhavati parjanyo. Rains are produced because yajna was performed. Somebody has prayed, done yajna to please rain god. And so rain god, being pleased, has sent rain. And where did yajna come from? Yajna karma samudbhavaha. Yajna is done when somebody has done his prescribed duties properly. Okay? तो तुम अपनी prescribed duty अच्छी तरह से करो. The devata, again, rain is very symbolic here. All devatas, whichever devata it is, gets pleased. And so that devata gives whatever he is responsible for. Because of that, you are able to exist in life. Right? Here we are looking at food grains come because of rain. Rain comes because of yajna. Yajna comes because somebody has done his karma. Similarly, let's say good sunlight. Right? Good sunlight comes because somebody has done his karma. Let's say the air that we breathe in is very pure because somebody has done his karma right. Everything which is helping us, which is enabling us to live well is because somewhere yajna has been performed. Okay? So, karma yoga can be understood only when we understand the cycle of yajna. It will teach us to become grateful. Okay? So, this cycle is what we want. Yajna karte raho, please devatas. Devatas will give us everything that we want. Okay? And that is what the next 2 verses say. Verse number 15, please. Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi. Brahmakshara samudbhavah. Tasmat sarvagatam brahmam. Nityam yadne pratishtitam.
Regulated activities are prescribed in the Vedas, and the Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, the all-pervading transcendence is eternally situated in acts of sacrifice.
Okay. So in the previous verse, God said, because somebody has done karma correctly, right, we're getting rains, because of which we're getting grains, because of which human beings are subsisting. So how do I understand what my karma is? Right? So immediately Krishna says, karma brahmodbhavam vidhi. Please understand that all karma, all prescribed duties are mentioned in the Brahma, in the Vedas. And where have the Vedas come from? Brahmakshara samudbhavaha. These Vedas have come from Akshar. Akshar, one who is never destroyed. Who is that? The Supreme Lord. So Vedas have come from God, and God has explained everybody's karma in the Vedas. Tasmat, therefore, sarvagatam Brahma. This Brahma, this God, which pervades everywhere, all the devatas, nityam yajne pratishtitam. They are always present when we perform our yajna. Okay? In the Vedas, the duties of all human beings according to their varna and their ashram have been laid down by the God himself. These duties are planned in such a way that when we perform these duties, okay, however materially engrossed we are, slowly we learn to control our desires. slowly, we start elevating ourselves. Even if we are in the mode of ignorance, dhire, when we start offering and getting things in return, our desires will get fulfilled. Dhire, our desires will become lesser and lesser. From mode of ignorance, we will move to mode of passion. From mode of passion, we start getting more and more and more. We start seeing a divine intervention in our life. We become more grateful. We will slowly move to the mode of goodness. Right? And that is how, just by doing our karma, we will be able to elevate ourselves. Therefore, we are told, ki whatever you do, offer it as yajna. But if we don't offer it as yajna, then the next verse tells us what the problem is. Okay? Evam pravartitam chakram nanuvartayatiha yaha aghayur indriya ramo mogham partha sajivati.
My dear Arjuna, one who does not follow in human life the cycle of sacrifice, thus established by the Vedas, certainly leads a life full of sin. Living only for the satisfaction of the senses, such a person lives in vain.
Okay, so from 3.14 we saw the cycle from grains to rains, right, is all based on our karma. Everybody has to perform their duty for this cycle to be very, very smooth, right? We humans are the only ones in this entire chain who have the ability to choose our actions using our own free will. What Subbalakshmi said, we all have buddhi, we all have intellect, right? We are the only ones who have the ability to choose our actions, right? Otherwise, everybody else does their karma, does not ever question, right? You will, listen to a kukuduku in the morning, right? It is time for wake up. They have a particular time to sleep. Every animal in this Shrishti performs his own chakra. Every devata performs his own duty. It is only we humans, right, who can decide कि मैं अपना कर्म करूं कि नहीं करूं. Only we humans have a choice कि shall I contribute to the harmony of this cycle or shall I create chaos? Right? When majority of the people in human society, when they accept their responsibility, then there is prosperity. Then spiritual growth is possible. And these periods become golden eras. So when we look at the history of mankind, when we had Raja Rishis leading us, right? When they performed their duties and they encouraged all their praja to do their duties, then there was Ram Rajya. But when we violate the system, when we reject our responsibility, then material nature punishes us. That is when peace and prosperity vanishes. Right? This whole wheel of nature has been set up by God so that we get disciplined, so that we get trained, and dhire we will elevate ourselves and get out of this janma mrityu jara vyadhi. We will get out of this material existence. So Krishna is explaining to Arjun that for those who don't perform their yajna, aghayur indriya ramo, what are they? They are becoming slaves of their indriyas and they live a very, very sinful life. Because what are they consumed by? Their senses. And if you're going to do nothing but keep gratifying your senses, right? I will think of nothing but me, myself and I. Then what am I doing? I'm living an extremely sinful life, and for me, I will only go in the reverse direction. Hell is my only option. But if I follow the law, then gradually I will become pure at heart and I will become free from material contamination. Remember, this cycle is established by the Lord Himself. So one who does not follow this cycle, his whole life is dedicated to sin. Indriya Ramo. It means somebody who is delighting, who is enjoying nothing but indriyon ko satisfy karna. Right? Enjoying sense enjoyment. Remember in the second chapter, we did Atma Ram. A Sthita Prajna is called Atma Ram. Atma Ram ka opposite is Indriya Ram. Atma Ram is somebody who is working to please his Atma. which means he wants to be connected to the Supreme Lord. Right? He wants to do good for everyone around him and he wants to reach the Supreme Lord. Indriya Ramo is somebody who is involved in nothing but khud ki indriya trupti. He is uselessly living in this world because he is harming himself. Excess sense gratification harms you, right? So neither is he doing good for himself nor is he doing good for other living beings, right? So by his life, he is incurring nothing but more and more and more bad karma for which he will have to suffer in the future. So this whole section, all that we need to know is we have to move towards becoming Atma Ram and not become Indriya Ram. Not take things without being grateful. Always acknowledge nothing belongs to me. Right? Take it with gratitude, use as much as is necessary, offer back to society. So I pray that we all work towards becoming Atma Ram. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Thank you all for joining. I'm not continuing because we just finished a section, right? If I take anything more, it would be a little confusing. So we'll stop here today. Okay, Grantraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Thank you all for joining.